Good morning, Predicted Trades family. Hope everybody's doing well. We have finally made it to Wednesday, February 1st. We have FOMC today. That's going to be the big ticket item. Let's take a quick look at our economic calendar. So at 8:15, we got our ADP employment report. There was a quick pop, but then it came back to settle. So overall, the initial reaction was decent. Looks like numbers look all right. We have some manufacturing PMI at 9:45. We have a little more data at 10 a.m., jobs data, manufacturing data, and then we'll be waiting until 2 p.m. when they announce the Fed rate, and 2:30 when Powell speaks. Tomorrow we do have initial jobless claims, some manufacturing data, and then on Friday the big one is non-farm payroll, some more employment data, some more PMI, and yeah, that kind of wraps up the week. Next week, pretty light on economic data releases, so could set up for, not much in the way of a good move next week. And just taking a look at where we are, we made it up to the 4100 and that 2-day squeeze top. We faded back to our daily 15, daily 8, held around that 4,008 and that 4017, 4020 zone. Made a good push pre-market yesterday, which kind of gave us the green light to the upside. And then it was a pretty slow grind all day. We got our push in the morning to get us up above or at 4056. Where we chopped around for quite a while and then started the slow journey up to 4071. And as you can see, we had a quick pullback to that daily Keltner around 4065, and then shot up in the last half hour to the next key target, 4087. I've covered these levels, every day for the last few weeks. So we need to always mark them and then play off of them. Yesterday, the overall target to the upside was 4056, then 4071, 4087. And you can see we arrived at each of those. It was just a slow grind. So we always want to mark those key levels so that we can all, be playing to the same target, have a good thesis for if we hold 4056, we should target 4071. Once we get there, we want to lock profit. And then if we can break through, we want to target to 4087. It just all adds to a trade thesis. Overall, we are holding above our trend line from last year. We have pulled back to moving averages a couple of times. So everything looks good to try to continue this breakout to head higher. We do have recent highs to contend with from the last few times we tried to break out. Around 4108, 4180, and 4136.5 are the big key levels. So we have FOMC today. Overall, would not be shocked if we get some balance this morning, maybe a little trend through yesterday's highs up to this Friday's highs, last week's highs. And we have a 30-minute and what looks like a 1-hour squeeze starting to form around us. So it lends to the fact that we could have a balanced, choppy morning. We could even have maybe a slow grind like we got yesterday. Overall, watch this 30-minute squeeze. The top is around that 4087. The bottom is around that 40.71. Not surprising, our pre-market lows are there. So overall, we can hold above 40.71 and this 30-minute squeeze bottom. Looking to carry up above 40.87, get through yesterday's highs, and continue up to 4100, 4108, and then maybe even make that journey up to 4128, 4135. Overall, that's the big key target right now, 4136.5. So if reaction to the Fed rate is good, and we see a push after FOMC, I'd be targeting that 4136.5. Now, let's keep in mind the last Fed meeting, it was in line. Expectation was, I think it was 0.75. We got 0.75. Maybe it was, I'm sorry, 0.5. I'm sorry, I can't really remember. But I do remember at least whatever we got, it was in line. It was what was expected. And we did not really pop that day. We actually faded back. So we might, we'll have to see what rate we get, and then we have to see what the reaction is. Last time it was what we expected, what was priced in, and the market still sold off a little bit. So we have to see if they're going to do that again today after some strong pushes to the upside. So let's see if we can hold above that 40.71, if it's going to give us a push up to 4100. If we start to lose 40.71, we want to target back to 40.65, 40.56, 40.50, where the daily 8 now sits. And if we lose that, then we're right back down to the bottom of this 4-hour squeeze where the daily 15 sits, where we bounced yesterday. So use that 30-minute squeeze. It's going to be a good guide today if we can break it and fire it to the upside or downside. On to NQ. NQ, very similar. We made it above this 12,100. Kind of got our pre-market lows there. And our overnight lows just a hair below it. So use this. Looks like we have a 30-minute and a 1-hour squeeze in place. Overall, if we can hold that 12,100, looking to get up through yesterday's highs, pre-market highs, and try to push up to this 12,250. If we start to lose that 12,100 and pre-market low near 1285, then we want to target back to 1250, back to 12,000, where the daily 200 and the daily 8 are now sitting, flanking it. So if we can't hold up, or we maybe get a negative reaction or start to fade after FOMC, we want to target right back to 12,000 on NQ. If we can get going, 1250 to the upside. Ready. Such a strong move yesterday on the ready. Come on, Toss. If you're going to be this slow, I'm just going to hit key names and wrap this up. So, ready, arriving at one of my key levels, 1940, 1941 yesterday. I'm flagging up here above that 1930. So overall, looking to hold above 1930 at the bottom of this 30-minute 1-hour squeeze, looking to carry up through 1941 to get up to 1950, 1960. If we start to lose that 1930, we want to target back to 1925, I say 1925 because we flagged up there yesterday, so there should be some support there. And if that gives out, then target back to 1920, 1910, where the daily 8 sits. Moving on to YM. So on YM, yesterday made it back above 34,000. We can see we've drifted back. And we're here below 34,000. Not loving this relative weakness in YM. And it could kind of hold us back or drag us down. Overall, would like to see YM stay above 33,950. Kind of the last spot that we bounced yesterday, and it was resistance until we broke through, retested, and pushed. So now we're back for a potential retest. Love to see us hold 950. If we can't hold that, we're coming back to these two daily moving averages, the daily 15, daily 8, right around 33,900. Want to see us hold there and bounce back up. Otherwise, we're slipping back in between liquidity zones. Yesterday, we held the daily 50, daily 21. Then we were held back by the daily 8, daily 15. Once we finally broke through, we had a good push. So now we really need to hold those kind of in the middle of this 4-hour squeeze to bounce back up and try to get any continuation of fire the squeeze to the upside. If we start to lose at 33,900, it's back to 33,800. These daily moving averages and this 4-hour squeeze bottom. Apple. Ooh, market's slipping a little more. Looking like we're going to be opening near this 4071. So on Apple today, would really love to see us hold the overnight lows of 143.5. We do have a little 30-minute squeeze bottom there as well, near 143.25. So would like to see us hold there on any dips, and looking for Apple to get back above 144.5, up to 145, and to try to push up to the top of this 4-hour squeeze. You know, we got above this target zone, 144.5, 145. We almost made it to the next target. We have faded back below the zone, and now we're at the zone. In a bearish setup, you know, this is a break, and now we are retesting. So if we reject this zone and slip through pre-market low, we could be back down to the daily 8, back down to these squeeze bottoms, and looking like a potential H on Apple. That's why this zone is going to be important today. We need to fight through it and push back above it to turn it into support. If it keeps being resistance, then it lends to more of a bearish thesis to make an H. And let's remember, Apple reports tomorrow with Amazon and Google. So we have FOMC today, we have big tech earnings tomorrow, we have NFP on Friday. I would expect some volatility. Let's see how FOMC goes today. Might just get a good push into those earnings tomorrow. Or we might get a little fade into those earnings tomorrow. Amazon. Amazon made it back above this 101.78, 102, but did not quite make it to that 104, 104.25. So kind of pinned between those key levels. See if we can hold above that 101.75-ish, that 30-minute squeeze bottom. and try to get up to this 104. We start to lose that 101.75, then we want to target back to 101.100. Google. So Google was also part of that slow grind yesterday and getting back to this 98.78. Overall, would like to see Google stay above 98 on any dips where this 30-minute squeeze bottom sits. And if we can push through 99, looking to get up to 100 and 101. We do have a 4-hour squeeze top right around 100 that could be resistance. If we start to lose that 98, we want to target back to 97 where the daily 8 sits and 96 at the bottom of the 4-hour squeeze. Half tempted to skip meta just so I can get, since it's just taking a while to load. Meta was pretty quiet yesterday, dealing with a little gap down. Overall, would want to see it hold above 146 at these squeeze bottoms and try to fight its way back up to 150. Below 146, you want to target 144, 142, and 140 where the daily 15 sits. And if we can get going to the upside, you want to target 150, 152 where the daily 200 sits. No. Don't freeze on me, Toss. Pretty much everything has these 30-minute squeezes going into open. So use those squeezes, play the range until the range breaks. Microsoft made a nice push back above 245, 246 yesterday, and looking like it might open near yesterday's highs. Overall, I want to see it hold 246 at that 30-minute squeeze bottom. I want to see us continue up through 248 to try to get to 250, and overall target 254.5 where the daily 200 sits, 255 psych level and key fib level at the top of that 2-day squeeze. But we do have some previous action like from last Friday that we'd have to get through, and that big psych level of 250. So let's see if Microsoft's going to try to do some leading today. It's already reported earnings, and we've got our reset back to the daily mean and had a good push. So let's see if we can continue that upside thesis on Microsoft. Yeah, Netflix didn't do much yesterday, pretty much sideways and sitting at POC. We've got a very, very tight squeeze here. Basically, if we go below 351, you want to target back to 348. Kind of get near yesterday's lows. If we can get through 355, you want to target up to 357. 358, 360, 361, if we can actually get going and break through these squeezes and fire them to the upside. But this name has had a big move. It's coming back and consolidating at a daily moving average, so daily liquidity. So it might sit here for another day or until FOMC reaction later today. NVIDIA still trying to fight back to that 200 psych level. Had a good push up and then just went sideways yesterday. Overall, want to see it stay above 193.5. Kind of the lows of that consolidation yesterday. As long as we can hold there, looking to push up above yesterday's highs around 197 and get up to 200, 204, 206. But if we start to give out that 193.5, we want to target down to 191, 190, 188. We have the daily 8 there at 191. And the 4-hour squeeze at about 188. QQQ. So QQQ got back above the daily 200 at 292. We have this 30-minute squeeze bottom at about 293 and the 292.5. So basically looking for 292, 293 to hold if we do have a little dip in the morning. As long as we can hold there. Looking to play back up to 295. And then try to push up to this 4-hour squeeze top around 297.5. With the overall goal of trying to have a big push up to 300. But again, we have tech earnings tomorrow, so let's see how the FOMC reaction goes. And if they start loading into those tech earnings, which will be tomorrow after the bell, we could see a nice run on QQQ to try and get up to that 297, maybe even to that 300. If we start to lose that daily 200, you just want to target right back to the daily 8 at about 290, and the bottom of this 4-hour squeeze at around 288, yesterday's pre-market lows. Let's just go to SPY, Tesla, VIX, and we'll wrap this up. So, overall, would like to see SPY stay above 403.5, kind of the last spot we bounced yesterday in the last hour, and 404 at the bottom of this hourly squeeze, if we are going to have a dip to test pre-market lows. As long as we can hold above 404 in this hourly squeeze bottom, looking to try to get back up to yesterday's highs near 406, 406.5, and then try to make the push past that, fire this 1-hour squeeze up to get to 408, 409, and 410. Those are the big upside targets. If we can hold, since we are now starting opening at kind of our highest point. We look left, we can see pretty much every other day we've opened much lower. So let's see if we can hold up here and make that push up to target. Tesla. Obviously, if we lose that 404 on SPY, you want to target back to, like 402.5 and then 400. Tesla did a great job getting back above this zone I have at 166, 167.5, and having a little gap up. So overall, let's see if we can stay above 170 on any dips, and looking forward to try to get back up to this 180, maybe even set up a push to that 190. Next key levels. If we start to lose that 170, then it's back to this zone that we bounced yesterday. Below that, we want to target down to yesterday's lows, 163. At the bottom of this 2-hour squeeze, below that, 158, where the daily 8 will be sitting. And VIX. So VIX did make it down further into this gap yesterday, got below the daily 8, and almost tapped 19. We're now gapping back above the daily 8, daily 15, and this little gap zone. So if we're going to have a little dip this morning, we'll likely see VIX stay above this daily 8, daily 15, and try to make a push to 20 where the daily 21 sits. And should we fade even more, then VIX will likely try to get above where it's been topping out at this 20.2 and try to make it up to 20.5 at the top of that 4-hour squeeze. But if we can stay under 20 today, maybe even under 19.8, oh, there's a weird little gap there, isn't there? So, if we can see VIX stay under its pre-market highs, or reject that 20 and come back below its pre-market highs, for upside on the market today, looking for VIX to reject those, come back down below 19.5, below these daily moving averages, and then continue through yesterday's lows to get to 19, maybe even down to fill this gap at 18.5. So that's it for a prep today. Hopefully you guys found this helpful. It is FOMC, so I might take a little shot here and there in the morning, but overall I'm going to be saving capital for the moves later in the day, which can be bigger. So let's see how these 30-minute squeezes go. And ES, let's see if we can hold that 40.71 on SPY. Let's see if we can hold those pre-market lows, 404.5, 404, and keep this journey going higher. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see everybody in the chat. Good luck today. And remember, tomorrow is our free Thursday where you can test out our tools if you are not yet a member. So good luck, and we'll see everybody in the chat.